Well guys, we finally got the 280Z down off the rotisserie for good. But we still got a little bit of sheet metal work left to do. Let's get it done. What's going on guys? Brian back with Block Garage. And like I told you in the last couple videos, once we finished up the epoxy primer and the undercoating underneath, we were taking this thing down off the rotisserie for good. So you can see I stuck the stock suspension back on the 280Z just so we can roll it around in the garage, because we have a little bit more sheet metal work to do. I got these couple little rust spots down here at the bottom of the windshield opening. This one I'm gonna cut out. These ones I think I might not need to. So that's pretty simple to do. I think we can bust that one right out. We also need to do everything back here on the rear fascia of the car, because remember my rotisserie was held up by the bumper shocks, which stick out through these holes, so I couldn't do anything about that while it was up on the rotisserie. So we need to finalize back here. We need to fill those holes in. We're gonna do something with these bolts here and smooth this out. I want this smooth all the way across, which it is not now. It's got minor little indents in it. It's actually got a lip right there. Anyways, doesn't matter right now, so we need to fix that. I think that's all we got left for our sheet metal work, at least on the body of the car. I believe I have to do some stuff on the hatch, which I'll probably pull that back out actually and stick it on the car here at some point. But first, before we do that, I want to take these door bars out for good, and I want to take our bracing out in there for good. That way, because we don't need it now. We do not need it now at all. That stuff was mostly put in there for when it was on the rotisserie, and all the weight of the car was way out here at the ends. And the car, you know, especially when you're cutting stuff out, it would dip in the middle. And we didn't want to warp the car and get this all done and have the car bent or, you know, anyways. So it's no longer useful to us, so we're gonna take those out real quick. Oh, we also got a little bit more rust. I forgot about this one. Right under here, there's a hole right here that comes through right here. And apparently, I got a pair of plugs, but there's a hole right here, goes through the backside. That one literally nobody will see, so it should be pretty easy. Anyways, let's bust out those door bars and the bracing inside, and then we'll get to work. Got those popped out, and something I was a little bit worried about. Remember I talked about the car wanting to bend in the middle? Well, I was thinking, let's say we didn't get everything strong enough before I just released that. When I cut it, the car would have tried to pinch back together, which would have pinched my cut together and pinched my blade. Didn't do that at all, so that is very good indication that hopefully the car is strong enough now, especially with those stronger frame rails on it, and still straight. It didn't try to fold back together in the middle once we released all the pressure from this. Here we go. Got my attachment points for that bracing inside all off. I did have to do a little bit of welding on a couple of the spots, just because when I welded it on, I had burned through a little bit, made a couple holes. Not a big deal. Filled that right in. No issues now. So I think we're going to start off with this hole right here. You can see there's a hole right there, and it looks like it got moisture or rust starting in between these two panels right here. You got this panel here that's added on for probably to give bracing and support to the steering column and everything that mounts here. Just they double layered it. So anyways, so rust formed in between there and burnt through that panel right there. So that's about as easy as we're gonna get for a rust repair, other than it's up underneath the cowl, but it's a nice flat piece. I'll just cut it out, cut a new one, put it in there, and we'll be done. We're gonna get started here getting this cut out. I'm just using my Milwaukee right angle die grinder with a cutoff disc on it. Now since this is 2 layers, I gotta be careful on most of it, the left hand side, because I don't want to cut all the way through and cut both layers, because the back layer is good. So we're just going to be careful cutting this. Just stay on the edge closest to me that we're replacing. It's really not that hard to do. If you're cutting this, especially with this where you got rust in between, you can see visually when you get through the first piece, because you'll see the rust in behind, and it won't be shiny anymore like the metal you're just cutting. And it is a bit hard to get in here. I didn't think it was going to be this tough. But you got these brackets in here for the dash stuff and the steering column and everything. It actually made it a little tough to get in there with this angled die grinder. You might be able to see when I get, especially on the left-hand side, I really couldn't get in there good and I didn't cut it straight at all. But it's not a big deal. But all we got to do is make our new panel that's going to be patching it the same shape. Really not a big deal. There was actually quite a bit more rust in between the two panels than I anticipated. Obviously, I knew there was going to be some because it had rotted through the backside. However, I got it all cleaned up as best I could, enough that I'm happy with it. And then we hit it with some rust encapsulator just to do a quick coating to get in all the pitted areas. And it really wasn't heavily pitted, just light pitted. Well, while that rust encapsulator is drying underneath down there, I want to check this out. We're going to cut out right about here, just around the edge of that, and see what's in there. I imagine it's just this little section right here that needs to be taken care of, but yeah, let's cut it out. So we're gonna get that cut out like usual with the cutoff disc. And then I also use the air body saw. I wish I had picked this body saw up a long time ago. It's super handy. It was pretty easy to cut, just had to be careful that I didn't cut through the second layer on the inside here that we're trying to remove it from, because then I'd have to fix that later. And then we just had 2 spot welds to drill out, and it popped right out. So we gotta bend one of these up. I don't think this will be too hard. I might have to make it in a couple pieces, just because I probably don't have a... Yeah, we'll probably... My thought is right now, right there, we'll make a seam, do this half, and do this half, weld it on the car. Or maybe we can weld it over on the bench. Either way, that's the plan right now. For the new piece, I'll just make some rough markings on a new piece of sheet metal. Don't need to be super accurate right now because we'll be doing some trimming. And we're only making that 1/2, don't forget. So we just cut that piece out with these shears that I got from Harbor Freight. Way easier than using hand shears or anything like that. And once it's cut out, I threw it in my brake that I had made earlier this year. I had made this completely from scratch. If you want to see how that was done, check my channel. I got a video on making that, and it really makes bending sheet metal easy. I've also successfully done it just by pinching it in a vise with a couple pieces of angle iron to hold it, and you can bend it over with a hammer. But this brake is just so much of a cleaner bend. And then since the window frame has a slight curve on both axes, I use the shrinker and stretcher tools that I also got from Harbor Freight, and they make this process incredibly easy. I don't know how you'd do this if you didn't have these. If you need a slight curve to it, you'd have to make it like multi-piece, I would think, and weld it together on the edges. I'm not really sure, but anyways, I would highly suggest picking these up if you're doing much sheet metal work at all. Here's that first piece all done. It's gonna sit just right like that. And we gotta make this piece obviously still down here. So let's throw some weld through primer on the back side of this and right here, and then we'll get this tacked in place, and then we'll make this rest of the panel right here. So I got the piece clamped in place on one end, making sure to get the edges perfectly lined up. If you have any variation here, or if it's off just a little bit, it's going to make it that much harder to make it look good at the end. The more time you spent getting everything lined up before you actually tack it in place, the better off you're going to be. Then I just tacked that side in, and then moved on to the other end, got that side lined up, and tacked it in place also. I also had those 2 holes in the backside from when we drilled out the spot welds, so I filled those in real quick, and our piece is nice and solid, and we don't have to worry about it moving. This edge wasn't quite lined up, so I tapped it in place. The more meticulous you are here, the better results you're going to have, so take your time. So I quickly bent up the other piece off camera, same process as before, just get it fitting good and tack it in place. I did have a couple tight spots that I found the easiest way is to clearance with the body saw. It's a lot easier than using a cutoff disc. Now that it's all lined up good and tacked in place, it's time to weld it all up. I like to hit each tack with a burst of compressed air to cool it off so we minimize warpage. Just be forewarned, it really slows down the process, but it's worth the effort because you don't want to get your sheet metal warped, because then you have to do a lot more work after the fight, adding filler and stuff like that. You know, it's more important on the bigger side panels of the car. Not necessarily a little patch like this around the windshield where you'd most likely never notice, but it's still important, and I still like to do it in most places. Once it was all welded up, I just cleaned up the welds with the edge of the cutoff disc to get rid of most of the material. I found that this is the fastest way, but you don't want to do it right to the end because it's very hard to get it smooth. So then once most of the weld is gone, I finish it up with a sanding disc. And here's what we ended up with. Very happy with this. And then, since we got sufficiently distracted from the first panel at the beginning of the video, gotta jump back on that. And I'll just zoom through this work since it's the same process you just saw. there we go, guys. Got both of those spots done. Honestly, I'm really happy with how the one over there on the bottom of the windshield frame came out. This one here is all right. Not my best work. It's hard working up under the dash like that. Any time you got to work overhead, but especially like trying to lean in over the floor of the car here, or sit down there, or I don't know. I tried every position I could to get in there comfortably. Never happened, and make sure that you guys could see. To be honest, I'm really missing the rotisserie right now. I could have flipped that up and worked, over it. It would have been a lot easier, but it doesn't matter at this point. It is done. That one is done. So let's go quickly cross that off on our whiteboard here. Right there behind the dash cam, that is done. So the only thing, and this isn't really a rusted area, it's just we couldn't work on it before because of how the rotisserie was hooked up, is the rear bumper area. Everything else has been checked off. So, as far as I know, you never know, something else could pop up. I am planning on stripping the whole exterior of the car. Looking at it, I don't think there's going to be anything hidden, but I really probably shouldn't say that because every time I do, something pops up. So really, all we got left though, back here, oh, hatch. That's right, the hatch has an area on it where I'm pretty sure has some rust and is going to need to be cut out. I had forgotten about that, but from memory it wasn't that much. I do have one other thing that I want to do to stiffen up the hatch, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Anyways, I don't know what else could possibly pop up for rust at this point. I really don't. We've been over the whole car. But yeah, next time we'll probably work on that rear bumper area. Either that or I'll bring the hatch out. I don't know. I want to throw the hatch and the doors and the fenders and everything back on just so we can see this car as one again, have it actually looking like a car. And then after that stuff is done, it'll be time to start on the Apex Engineer suspension and then the 2JZ swap. So make sure you guys stick around for that stuff. I'm really excited to get started on the 2JZ swap. I'm sure some of you guys are too. Hopefully we can bring in some new viewers that aren't necessarily into Datsuns, but they might be into seeing a 2JZ swap. And my plan is to go through every single thing that I find needs to be done to do this 2JZ swap, which should be applicable to pretty much any car you do a 2JZ swap on, although newer cars you'd have to deal with CAN bus stuff. But we obviously don't have to deal with that stuff in a car from 1978. But yeah, it's been over a year now that we've been working on this car, and we're finally to the point where we can say the car is probably free of rust. So, I don't know. This is where I had hoped I had been a year ago. I didn't know there was going to be this much rust on the car. Obviously there is, and we dealt with it, but this stuff is not stuff that I enjoy. Although, now that I've done it a bunch, it's a little more enjoyable because I actually know how to fix it properly. But still, I'm way more into the mechanical stuff, so I'm really excited to get doing the suspension swap and the 2JZ swap and wiring and getting it running and all that stuff. But that's in the future, so let me know what you guys think of this and upcoming plans for the 280Z. And hopefully I see you guys in the next video.